Yeah, let's unpack this. We're facing a really fascinating head-to-head in the world of foldable phones today. We've got the Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold versus the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7. Two absolute powerhouse devices, right?
Yeah.
But each one really embodies a distinct philosophy, and they're both vying for your attention. So the big question is it raw, unyielding durability, or is it the sheer allure of sleek, premium design that ultimately wins out? Wins out for your pocket, your digital life. Our mission today in this deep dive is to really get into these two titans. We want to extract the most important nuggets of knowledge, pulling from a whole stack of tech reviews, detailed spec sheets, industry analyses, and those vibrant user discussions online. We're looking at insights from places like Android Central, Wired, Tom's Guide, the Times of India, and of course the debates raging on Reddit and X. We're here to understand the critical trade-offs, explore the underlying philosophies behind these cutting-edge devices, and ultimately figure out what these different choices mean for your daily life. This isn't just about comparing raw numbers on a sheet.
It's about how those specs actually translate into real-world experiences, and maybe even how they reflect broader trends in technology, maybe even beyond. So we'll be setting the stage by exploring a core tension here. Google's relentless pursuit of ultimate ruggedness versus Samsung's, well, really alluring appeal of a premium, refined design. Which approach offers more long-term value, and maybe more importantly, which one resonates more with your priorities? Let's jump in. So let's start where most people do, right? That first glance, that initial feel in the hand. Picking up the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, the immediate impression is just undeniable premium craftsmanship. It absolutely screams premium allure. What's striking right out of the gate is how noticeably thinner and lighter it feels. It comes in at a pretty svelte 215 grams.
Yeah, that's a big deal for foldables.
Right. And they've also given the hinge a significant redesign. You can immediately feel it, the aesthetics, the sort of tactile sensation, but it's not just about what you hold. Under the hood, it's powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy. That's a custom-tuned chip, promising, top-tier performance. And for those quick glances, the cover screen is brighter now, measures 6.5 inches. Protection-wise, it's got Gorilla Glass ceramic. And for the photographers listening, Samsung has packed in a massive 200-megapixel main camera. Quite the spec list.
That 215-gram weight, it feels like a significant psychological shift for foldables, doesn't it? How does that weight reduction actually feel in the hand compared to, say, previous models, which often felt, well, bulkier, or even just a traditional smartphone?
Oh, it feels massively different. That 215 grams is genuinely a kind of a threshold. Remember, earlier foldables could easily feel like carrying two phones stacked together, often pushing 250, 260 grams.
Right, quite hefty. Exactly. So dropping to 215 grams, it really starts to blur the line with traditional flagship phones. It makes the Z Fold 7 far more comfortable for like one-handed use, or if you're holding it open watching something for a while. It just drastically improves the whole ergonomic experience. It feels less like a brick.
And that redesigned hinge you mentioned, it's not just about looking good, surely. What structural advancements does it bring? What does it imply for maybe perceived durability or just that satisfying closed form factor, getting it to fit better in your pocket?
Well, achieving that weight reduction and redesigning the hinge without compromising structural integrity, that takes some serious engineering. We're talking material science, maybe lighter but stronger aerospace-grade alloys, and likely a more compact multi-link mechanism inside that hinge, something that folds flatter, maybe reduces that infamous gap when it's closed.
Ah, the gap. Always a talking point.
Always. So a flatter fold not only looks incredibly sleek, but it also enhances pocketability, like you said.
Yeah.
It just communicates this sense of refinement, advanced engineering. It feels less like a novel gadget, maybe, and more like a fully integrated, really premium device.
Okay, and what about that custom chip, the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy? You said it promises to push performance, but what's the real significance of having a chip optimized specifically for Galaxy devices? What does that actually mean for the user?
That's a great question, because it's far more than just a speed bump on paper. What's truly insightful, and maybe often underestimated, is how it lets Samsung fine-tune the entire user experience in a way that generic, off-the-shelf chips just can't match. Imagine predictive AI for things like gesture recognition that's so smooth it feels almost telepathic, or power management that's so precise even when you're running demanding split-screen apps for hours, you're not constantly hunting for a charger.
So better battery life in practice, potentially.
Potentially, yes. Or at least smarter use of the battery they have. This bespoke silicon allows for a level of software-hardware synergy. It creates unique photo processing capabilities, optimizes gaming performance to sustain frame rates longer. It even helps establish a more secure Knox environment by deeply integrating security right at the chip level. It's Samsung essentially saying, look, we're not just assembling parts here, we're crafting an experience from the silicon up that, frankly, no other Android foldable can replicate. That level of integration is a core competitive advantage for them. It lets them push boundaries.
That seamless integration sounds like it could be a real game changer for just the overall fluidity day to day.
Yeah.
And that brighter 6.5-inch cover screen. You mentioned it's brighter, but how does having, say, a 3000 nit outer screen specifically impact your daily convenience? We often use that screen for quick things, don't we?
Precisely. For many, maybe even most users, the cover screen is where a significant chunk of quick interactions happen. You're checking notifications, firing off a quick reply, glancing at maps, controlling music, all without fully opening the device, right?
Yeah, constantly.
So making the screen equally bright and vibrant, matching the inner display's peak brightness, which is also reportedly 3000 nits that dramatically enhances its utility. Imagine being out in direct sunlight. A dimmer outer screen would just force you to constantly open the phone, interrupting your flow.
That's true, yeah. Annoying.
The Z Fold 7 ensures that quick glance experience is just as impressive, just as legible as the full-screen immersive experience. It really cements its role as a truly premium and, importantly, functional external display, not just an afterthought.
Okay, and then there's that camera. The massive 200-megapixel main camera, beyond the sheer megapixel count, which, let's be honest, can sometimes feel like a marketing number.
Yeah.
What does this camera really offer in terms of detail, low-light performance, computational photography? Does it signal Samsung really doubling down on imaging excellence?
Absolutely. That 200-megapixel sensor isn't just about capturing enormous files that fill up your storage.
Right.
It's really a foundation for advanced computational photography. Its primary trick is leveraging pixel binning. That's where multiple physical pixels on the sensor are combined to form a larger superpixel.
Okay.
And the benefit. It dramatically improves low-light performance and dynamic range, so you get incredibly sharp, detailed images, even in really challenging lighting conditions like dimly lit restaurants or evening shots. And you get this without the digital noise you typically associate with smaller sensors trying to capture that much light. Plus, Samsung's expertise in computational photography, features like their enhanced nightography, advanced image processing, they'll undoubtedly take full advantage of this sensor. So expect superior detail, more accurate colors, probably faster autofocus too. It certainly signifies Samsung's renewed commitment to pushing mobile imaging boundaries, trying to truly rival maybe even dedicated cameras in many situations.
Makes sense. But of course, every story has two sides. While Samsung leads heavily into sleekness and those big hardware numbers, Google's Pixel 10 Pro Fold takes a distinctly different path.
Mm-hmm.
It emphasizes a different kind of cutting-edge innovation right from the start. It's making a really strong case for what we're calling rugged value.
Mm.
The big headline here. This device is a potential game changer because it achieves an IP68 dust and water resistance rating. That's a first for a mainstream foldable phone with moving parts like these.
Huge news in the foldable space.
Absolutely. And it comes with a cheaper base price, reportedly clocking in around $7,799. That's a full $200 less than Samsung's expected, $1,999. It also integrates Q2 magnetic charging, houses the significantly larger 5,050 mAh battery we mentioned, and is powered by Google's own chip, the Tensor G5. Interestingly, it seems to largely retain its predecessor's form factor, which signals maybe focus on refinement and durability rather than a radical visual redesign. Now, let's dig into that IP68 rating. Google's bold move here. Achieving IP68, for our listeners, that generally means it's dust tight and can handle being submerged in fresh water, usually up to about 1.5 meters for 30 minutes. But its significance for a foldable phone, that just cannot be overstated. What were the sort of monumental engineering hurdles Google must have overcome to offer this kind of everyday resilience?
Oh, monumental is the right word. That IP68 rating is indeed a game changer, and Google's accomplishment here is immense. Think about it. Standard phones are relatively sealed units, easier, But foldables, they have a dynamic moving hinge. They have a flexible display that constantly flexes, and there are inevitably microscopic gaps around that mechanism.
Yeah. Lots of entry points for dust and water.
Exactly. So Google's innovation likely involved a whole combination of things. Advanced microsealing gaskets around every single port and button, potentially hydrophobic coatings on internal components, maybe even the circuit boards, and crucially, a hinge design that intelligently manages or blocks water ingress, even during the opening and closing cycles. That's the really tricky part. We're talking about nanometer precision engineering. A careful selection of materials that can withstand both the physical stress from folding and the environmental exposure without degrading those crucial seals over time. This isn't just a speck on a sheet, it fundamentally changes how you can interact with your device. It offers a new level of peace of mind that truly elevates the Pixel Fold from maybe a delicate luxury item into a properly rugged daily driver.
Like you said, imagine being caught in a sudden downpour or an accidental kitchen spill. That IP68 protection offers genuine freedom from that constant, low-level anxiety.
The price point is also a critical differentiator, as you noted. That $200 difference isn't insignificant, especially at this premium end of the market. What Google gains by positioning itself as the more, let's say, accessible premium foldable is broader appeal.
Right. It opens the door a bit wider.
Exactly. It says a lot about their market strategy. They're not just chasing the absolute bleeding edge of, say, thinness or screen tech. They're trying to offer a highly capable and durable foldable experience to a wider audience. Balancing that innovation with compelling value, it makes this kind of premium foldable technology potentially attainable for more people.
And the inclusion of Key 2 magnetic charging. For our listeners who might not be familiar, this is the latest generation of the Qi wireless charging standard, but now with integrated magnets, similar to Apple's MagSafe. What are the practical benefits of this specific advancement?
Q2 is a fantastic upgrade, honestly. Those integrated magnets mean your phone doesn't just charge wirelessly, it snaps securely into place on the charger. Guarantees optimal alignment every single time. This eliminates that frustrating wait, is it actually charging? Guesswork.
Oh yeah, I know that feeling, nudging it around.
Exactly. And because the coils are perfectly aligned, it often delivers faster, more consistent charging speeds compared to standard Qi, where misalignment can slow things down. But beyond just charging, it opens the door for a whole new ecosystem of magnetic accessories. Think car mounts that just click on and power your navigation, desk stands that turn your phone into a smart display while it charges, or even external battery packs that just snap onto the back.
Ah, okay. So it's a platform, really.
It is. It's a thoughtful touch that enhances convenience day to day and, importantly, future-proofs the device for a growing accessory market.
That 5015 mAh battery also seems like a significant point, especially considering, as you said, the power demands of having two displays. For a device that's inherently power-hungry, how does this larger capacity translate into real-world battery life, particularly for heavy users or maybe people who are constantly on the go and can't always plug in?
Yeah, for a device with two energy-hungry displays, a 5015 mAh battery is definitely a powerhouse, relatively speaking. This larger capacity could quite literally mean the difference between comfortably getting through a full, intensive day's use, whether you're gaming, streaming video, doing heavy multitasking on that larger inner screen, and needing that dreaded midday top-up charge.
That's a big difference in user experience.
It really is. The implications for productivity, for entertainment, or simply just staying connected without constantly searching for an outlet are substantial. It directly translates to less battery anxiety and more freedom to actually use your expensive foldable phone as intended, and that aligns perfectly with Google's apparent philosophy here, a reliable, rugged value device that just keeps going.
And of course, the heart of that Pixel, the Tensor G5 chip. Google's emphasis on AI and machine learning through its custom silicon, that's a core part of their identity now. What unique software experiences or performance optimizations can you expect from the Tensor G5 that might set it apart from, say, the Snapdragon and the Samsung?
Right. The Tensor G5 is Google's statement on what a smartphone chip should be in their view. Fundamentally, a platform for advanced AI and machine learning. So you can expect unique software experiences powered by that. Things like incredibly sophisticated on-device processing for real-time language translation, which works remarkably well even when you're offline. Or advanced photo editing features that go way beyond basic adjustments. Think Magic Eraser, Photo and Blur, maybe new tricks, all running faster and more capably directly on the phone.
That on-device processing is key for privacy and speed too, right?
Absolutely. It also powers predictive capabilities that aim to make the phone feel genuinely intelligent, sort of anticipatory of your needs, optimizing everything from app launch speeds to background processes to save battery. So unlike chips that might be focused purely on raw peak CPU benchmark scores, Tensor G5 is designed more for sustained AI-accelerated tasks, tasks that enhance the everyday user experience in subtle but often profound ways. It helps create that distinct pixel experience people talk about.
It feels like these initial specs already set up a really clear philosophical divide, don't they? You've got Samsung pushing the boundaries of premium sleekness, refined performance, a very design-first approach. And then you have Google prioritizing practical durability, that IP rating, the bigger battery, competitive value, focusing on foundational resilience.
Exactly. It's almost a classic form versus function debate playing out right here in the foldable space.
It's fascinating to see how each manufacturer is interpreting the future of this device category, what they think users really want.
Okay, moving beyond those raw specifications, let's delve a bit deeper into the display and design trade-offs these devices present, because this is where we really start to see the divergent paths these manufacturers are taking, maybe where the compromises lie. On the Pixel side, as we've established, there's a clear, undeniable focus on durability. It features an 8-inch AMOLED inner display, which is not only expansive, but also boasts that super bright 3000 nits peak brightness, great for outdoors. But its key differentiator, the thing that truly sets it apart in the foldable market right now, remains that IP68 rating. It's the current gold standard for durability in this form factor.
Yeah, that 8-inch AMOLED inner display with a staggering 3000 nits peak brightness. It's more than just a number on a spec sheet. It's fundamentally about providing an uncompromised viewing experience in any condition you might find yourself in. Imagine trying to watch HDR content, where those peak brightness levels really make the colors pop and reveal subtle details in the shadows.
Right? Makes HDR worthwhile.
Or just trying to read an ebook by the pool on a bright, sunny day. The practical impact is crystal clear legibility and vibrant, true-to-life colors, regardless of the ambient lighting. It transforms that large foldable canvas into a truly immersive portal for media, for productivity, even for gaming.
And building on our earlier discussion about that IP68 rating, it isn't just marketing fluff. It's about user confidence, pure and simple. What specific real-world scenarios does IP68 protect against that other foldables? Without that rating, simply don't. This peace of mind, it feels like it fundamentally transforms the foldable from a delicate, almost precious item into a robust daily tool.
You're absolutely right. The practical implications of IP68 for a foldable are profound. It's not just about surviving, the classic drop in the toilet scenario, though it certainly should handle that fine, hopefully. But it's more about freedom from that constant low-level vigilance. Think about getting caught in a sudden rain shower when you're out navigating, or working in a dusty environment, maybe a workshop, maybe even just a windy day at the beach or a picnic in a park. Without IP68, any significant exposure to dust or water would trigger immediate anxiety, right? You'd be stuffing it away.
Definitely. Wiping it frantically.
With it, you gain the confidence to use your device in far more diverse environments. It effectively expands its utility. It means you don't have to baby your, let's face it, very expensive device quite as much. And that is a significant factor in long-term user satisfaction for anyone. And if we want to connect this to the bigger picture, maybe stepping back a bit, the Pixel's emphasis on IP68 durability, it kind of mirrors the fundamental importance of robust infrastructure in other fields. You could even draw a parallel to the digital asset space. Think about something like Bitcoin's network longevity.
Okay, how so?
Well, Bitcoin's network is often praised for its durability, right? It's withstood countless challenges, potential attacks, debates about its future for over a decade now. It's proven its foundational strength through resilience. Google's commitment here, building an IP68, reflects a similar principle, but in the physical realm. Building something designed to last, designed to resist external pressures. It's about instilling trust in the underlying engineering, promising a resilient tool that can actually weather the literal storms of daily life. It's about that foundational trust.
Interesting parallel. Now, shifting over to Samsung. Their emphasis is clearly, as we said, on sleekness and delivering an uncompromised outer screen experience.
Yeah.
While it apparently offers comparable internal display quality to the Pixel, the crucial point for many users might be that its outer screen also achieves that staggering 3000 nits peak brightness. And of course, it boasts that noticeably thinner hinge design, which contributes significantly to its overall sleek, premium aesthetic.
Yeah, the fact that the outer screen also hits that 3000 nits peak brightness is incredibly significant, and it's a strong differentiator for Samsung. Like we touched on, for most users, that cover screen is the primary interface for quick tasks throughout the day. If that screen is dull or difficult to see in bright conditions, it kind of defeats the purpose of having a convenient, quick access display.
True, you just end up opening it anyway.
Exactly. So by matching the inner display's peak brightness, Samsung ensures that the outer screen remains perfectly legible and vibrant even in direct sunlight. It transforms it into a truly premium, uncompromised front display. This isn't just about functionality, though. It reinforces that overall high-end luxury feel. It ensures that every interaction you have with the device, whether it's a brief glance or extended use, feels premium.
And that thinner hinge design. You feel like that's really about the wow factor when you first hold it, isn't it? That immediate impression.
Right.
But what kind of engineering feats are actually required to make a hinge thinner while still maintaining structural integrity? And what impact does this have on the device's overall profile and, importantly, pocketability?
It absolutely contributes massively to that wow factor, that initial tactile feedback. Achieving a thinner hinge while maintaining or ideally even improving structural integrity is an immense engineering challenge, no doubt about it. It involves using advanced materials, probably things like titanium or custom high-strength steel alloys that are incredibly strong yet lightweight. It requires micro-precision machining to create a complex multi-link mechanism, one that folds with minimal friction and ideally a virtually imperceptible gap when closed.
So less chance of lint getting in there, too.
Hopefully, yes. The benefit is a more streamlined device that just feels incredibly comfortable in the hand, slips more easily into pockets, and presents that uncompromised, elegant aesthetic. It's about shaving off millimeters while actually adding strength, which is a real testament to Samsung's decades of experience in compact mechanical design and manufacturing. And like you said, that minimized gap also theoretically reduces the potential for dust or debris ingress, which contributes to the device's longevity and maintains that clean, premium look when it's folded. So the sleek verdict for Samsung is pretty clear. They are absolutely prioritizing an uncompromised high-end user experience, where the device feels every bit as premium as it looks. This is fundamentally a design-first approach. They're aiming to create a foldable that not only offers cutting-edge technology, but also excels in terms of visual appeal, tactile feedback, and that overall user interaction quality. It's about delivering a polished, top-tier luxury experience where every detail, from the feel of the hinge snapping shut to the brightness of both screens, speaks of premium craftsmanship.
This section really highlights the core design trade-off perfectly, doesn't it? It forces a choice. Do you prioritize the ability to withstand the elements, the accidental spill, the unexpected rain shower, which the Pixel champions with its IP68 rating? Or do you gravitate towards the refined, svelte form factor and that uncompromised, super bright outer screen experience of the Samsung, which feels undeniably premium in your hand?
Exactly. It's a choice between rugged practicality and elegant sophistication. And each side has really compelling arguments depending on what you value most.
Right. Let's power through to section 3. Camera and battery performance. These are absolutely critical, the engines of your portable life, right? They dictate how long your device actually lasts through the day and how well it captures your most important moments. On Pixel's side, we see a clear focus again on, photographic prowess, particularly with zoom, and endurance. It reportedly features a superior 5x optical telephoto lens, and as we discussed earlier, that significantly larger 5015 mAh battery, complemented by the convenience of Key 2 wireless charging. Okay, that 5x telephoto lens. That feels like a major potential advantage for the Pixel, especially compared to just digital zoom. For those listening who aren't professional photographers, maybe break down the distinct advantages of optical zoom over digital zoom, especially when you're trying to capture something at a distance. Why does optical matter so much?
Yeah, the difference between optical and digital zoom is fundamental, especially when you get to higher magnifications like 5x. Optical zoom uses the physical lens elements inside the camera module. They actually move to magnify the image before it even hits the sensor. This preserves every bit of detail and ensures maximum clarity. It's like having a miniature, high-quality telescope built right into your phone.
Okay.
Digital zoom, on the other hand, it doesn't use optics like that. It merely crops into an existing image captured by the main sensor and then digitally enlarges that cropped section, which inevitably leads to a loss of detail, a much softer, often noticeably pixelated final picture, especially at 5x or beyond.
So you're basically just stretching pixels.
Pretty much, yeah. That 5x optical zoom on the Pixel means you're getting genuinely high-quality, crisp, detailed shots of distant landscapes, architectural details, maybe candid moments at an event, without needing to physically get closer. It really opens up a new realm of photographic opportunities for users who value true detail and clarity in their telephoto shots, rather than just a highly magnified but, frankly, often blurry digital crop. And that 5,015 mAh battery. We keep coming back to it, but it's genuinely crucial for a power-hungry device with two displays. This larger capacity, as we said, could literally mean the difference between comfortably getting through a full day's use, even for heavy users who are frequently unfolding that larger inner screen and needing that midday charge, carrying a power bank, that whole routine.
Right, the battery anxiety factor.
Exactly. Think about a long commute where you're watching videos, or a day packed with back-to-back meetings where you're taking notes on the big screen, or even just a weekend trip where charging opportunities might be scarce. The practical implications are significant for productivity, for entertainment, and simply for staying connected without constantly monitoring your battery percentage. It directly translates to less battery anxiety and more freedom to use your phone to its absolute full potential. And again, that aligns perfectly with Google's apparent rugged value philosophy: provide robust, reliable performance that lasts.
And the key to wireless charging just sort of reinforces that convenience factor, doesn't it? Potentially faster wireless top-ups, more secure magnetic connection to your charging stands or pads. It's about making those power-ups as effortless as possible. Now, let's flip over to Samsung's approach for camera and battery. They offer, on paper, an impressive longer digital zoom, reportedly up to 30x, but they pair that with a slightly smaller 4400 mAh battery.
Right. So while Samsung's 30x digital zoom, called Space Zoom, sounds incredibly impressive just in terms of the sheer number, it's essential for listeners to understand its inherent limitations. As we just discussed, digital zoom heavily relies on software cropping and interpolation, basically AI guessing what should be there. While it might be useful for, say, quickly identifying a distant object where perfect clarity isn't the main goal, maybe reading a sign far away for serious photography, it often becomes more of a marketing feature than a genuinely practical tool at those extreme ranges.
So usable, but maybe not great quality at 30x.
Right. Exactly. At 30x, you're almost certainly looking at a significantly degraded image quality. Potentially muddy details, maybe weird artifacts, and likely a lot of digital noise reduction smearing things out. It's an impressive number for the spec sheet, but the practical utility for high-quality image capture is quite limited compared to a strong optical zoom foundation. And then there's the battery situation. That 4,400 mAh battery, while it's still a respectable size, in the grand scheme of phones, it is noticeably smaller than the Pixel's nearly 5,000 mAh. So how does this compare, and what are the potential impacts on daily usage, especially for those power users? Well, as we speculated earlier, Samsung's custom-tuned Snapdragon 8 Elite chip might be more power efficient overall. They might have really optimized the display drivers and background processes.
So software could potentially bridge some of that gap.
It could potentially offset some of that smaller physical capacity through smarter resource management. Samsung is very good at optimization. However, physics is physics. If you are a heavy user, someone who frequently utilizes both screens for demanding tasks, or you simply want the security of knowing you can easily make it through a very long day, you will likely need to be more conscious of your usage on the Samsung, or, plan to carry a charger or a power bank for those longer days out. It feels like a clear trade-off they made to achieve that thinner, lighter design. And this really raises an important question, maybe connecting back to those broader themes we discussed. In this whole value versus premium debate, where does something like battery size fit in? Some people in the crypto space might opt to pay extra for high throughput chains, right? Prioritizing immediate performance, transaction speed, even if it comes with higher fees or maybe less proven long-term resilience.
Right, speed over perhaps other factors.
Exactly. And similarly, a smaller battery paired with a highly efficient chip might prioritize that sleek design and the theoretical peak performance. Others, however, might prefer, say, undervalued, more resilient alternatives in crypto chains that focus on robust security, proven longevity, consistent performance over time. Valuing reliability. Battery life in a phone can be seen through a very similar lens, can't it? Are you prioritizing the ultimate slimness and perceived peak speed? Or are you prioritizing the raw endurance, the ability to reliably get through the day, every single day, without worry?
That's a great analogy. It's a choice between maybe peak performance and bursts versus consistent, long-lasting performance. These performance differences really do underscore the divergent paths these two manufacturers are taking. It creates clear implications for specific user needs. Are you a photographer who really values that optical zoom reach and wants absolute confidence in all-day power without compromise? Maybe the Pixel leans your way? Or are you someone looking for the sleekest possible package, impressed by the high zoom numbers on paper, even if it means some potential compromises in practical battery life and ultimate zoom quality? Perhaps the Samsung calls to you more. Okay, now we arrive at what might be the ultimate test, especially for this form factor: durability and practical use cases. This is where the rubber meets the road, or maybe where the phone hinge meets its millionth fold, or the phone meets the pavement.
Let's hope not the pavement.
Let's hope not. Google, for their part, has gone to great lengths to emphasize the Pixel's rigorous reliability testing. The Pixel Fold, presumably the new one follows suit, has been tested, they claim, to endure 200,000 folds, which, based on typical user habits, they translate to over 10 years of use. They say this impressive longevity is directly attributed to its new hinge design and enhanced durability layers in the screen assembly. 10 years. I mean, that's practically a lifetime in consumer tech, isn't it? Where devices often feel obsolete or break down within just a few years. What does this level of testing, 200,000 folds, really signify for your long-term investment in a device like this? This isn't just about surviving a few accidental drops or one bad day. It's about proven mechanical endurance over potentially a decade of opening and closing, day in, day out.
Yeah, that 10-year projection based on 200,000 folds is incredibly significant. It's a bold claim. For the average user who might, let's say, fold and unfold their phone maybe 50 to 100 times a day, that translates to a level of engineering confidence that goes far beyond what we typically expect from consumer electronics.
It really does set a benchmark.
It signifies Google's commitment, or at least their stated goal, of building a genuinely lasting product, maybe pushing back against the idea of planned obsolescence in this very expensive category. So this directly impacts your long-term investment by offering exceptional peace of mind regarding the mechanical aspect. You're buying a device that's designed and tested to withstand the unique physical demands of its form factor for many, many years. Theoretically, it reduces the need for frequent upgrades purely due to mechanical failure, potentially saving you money and contributing to a more sustainable tech lifecycle, which is also important. And the engineering behind achieving those numbers, it's truly fascinating to think about. What kind of materials science and advanced microengineering actually go into creating a hinge mechanism and display layers that can withstand such repetitive stress without failing? We're likely talking about incredibly robust alloys for the hinge components themselves, maybe advanced stainless steel formulations, maybe even titanium components in critical areas, paired with very precise multi-link mechanisms, carefully designed to distribute the stress evenly across the flexible display panel as it bends.
So it's not just one single point of failure.
Exactly, distributing the load. The display itself likely incorporates multiple complex layers of flexible polymers and that ultra-thin glass UTG technology, all engineered specifically to resist fatigue, cracking, and creasing over hundreds of thousands of cycles. Google has probably invested very heavily in proprietary material treatments, maybe specialized hinge lubrication systems, to ensure smooth, consistent operation over this projected extended lifespan. It's a monumental challenge in product design, truly, requiring innovation at pretty much every single component level involved in that fold. And what's fascinating here, tying back again, is that Google's focus on this fold test lab pushing for this extreme level of physical durability. It perfectly mirrors that core principle we see in the crypto space: infrastructure durability.
Okay, reinforce that connection again.
Well, just as Bitcoin's network, for example, has proven its longevity and resilience over more than a decade, surviving countless attacks, forks, market crashes, regulatory uncertainty, it's established trust in its fundamental architecture through its robust, decentralized nature. It just keeps working. Google, by publishing these kinds of stress tests, is seeking to build a physical product with a similar kind of robust foundational strength. It's about building trust in the underlying engineering for the long haul, giving users confidence that their significant investment is built to last and will provide reliable service for years to come, mechanically at least.
Right. Okay, so that's Google's 200,000 folds in a decade claim. Over on Samsung's side, they apparently claim an even more impressive 500,000 folds for its Galaxy Z Fold 7, which they naturally present as market-leading. 500,000 folds. That's an incredible number, suggesting truly superior mechanical endurance of the folding mechanism itself. However, and this is the big however, despite this incredibly high fold count, the device still notably lacks, according to current reports, that IP68 dust and water resistance rating that the Pixel boasts. This presents a very, very interesting trade-off for you, the consumer. So what does this all mean? We have this potentially incredible mechanical endurance from Samsung, promising 500,000 folds. but then arguably a vulnerability to the basic elements, dust and water. Why might Samsung prioritize such an astronomical fold count over achieving full environmental sealing like Google apparently has? Are there still insurmountable engineering challenges for them in getting IP68 into such a thin design? Or is it more of a conscious design choice, where they prioritize the ultimate thinness and the hinge mechanisms feel over that environmental ruggedness?
That really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? And likely something Samsung debates internally constantly. Achieving 500,000 folds is an extraordinary feat of mechanical engineering, no question. It demonstrates a clear, perhaps even obsessive focus on the longevity and reliability of the hinge mechanism itself over extreme use.
Suggests they've really nailed the mechanics of the fold.
It does. But the absence of an IP68 rating, especially when a direct competitor has now seemingly achieved it, strongly suggests a significant engineering trade-off, or perhaps a different design philosophy prioritization. It is incredibly difficult to fully seal a complex device that moves and flexes constantly, particularly around that intricate hinge area and the edges of the flexible display, while simultaneously achieving the ultra-thin profile and the near-gapless fold that Samsung is clearly striving for aesthetically.
So adding seals adds bulk, basically.
It almost certainly does. Even fractions of a millimeter matter in these designs. Samsung may be finding it genuinely challenging to incorporate the necessary seals, internal water channeling, and protective membranes without adding unwanted bulk, or maybe compromising the sleekness or even the precise feel of the hinge they've worked so hard to perfect. So it could be a conscious design choice. They might believe their target audience primarily values the aesthetics, the slimness, the feel in the hand, and that mechanical fold longevity more than they value the environmental resilience. Or, perhaps more likely, it's simply that the technology required to integrate both flawlessly extreme fold count and robust IP sealing at their desired form factor isn't quite mature enough yet for their demanding standards. They might get there next year, who knows? But this really forces the issue, raises that important question directly for you, the potential buyer. What constitutes true durability in your mind? Is it the sheer number of folds a device can withstand on a testing machine, ensuring the hinge and flexible display hopefully hold up for many years of repetitive mechanical stress? Or is it the device's ability to survive an accidental splash by the pool, getting caught in the rain, working in a dusty garage, or even surviving that dreaded drop into shallow water?
Yeah, the everyday hazards versus the long-term wear.
Exactly. It's a fundamental trade-off that each manufacturer seems to be making right now. And it forces us as consumers to really consider our own lifestyles, our own risk tolerance, and our own priorities when we're evaluating a high-end, cutting-edge, and very expensive device like a foldable. One might be incredibly robust mechanically to continuous flexing, while the other is more environmentally resistant to those sudden external hazards. Which risk worries you more?
Indeed. We've seen the raw numbers for durability, the impressive fold counts from both, the unprecedented IP rating from Google, but the winner in the durability contest. It's truly determined by context, your specific needs, and maybe even how clumsy you are. So after this really deep dive, it feels abundantly clear that context is king. There's no single winner here in an absolute sense. It really all comes down to your priorities and how you actually intend to use your foldable phone day to day. Let's try and break down who wins for whom based on what we've discussed. Samsung, it seems, clearly leads on the hardware specs in some areas, the overall allure, and that undeniable premium design factor.
Absolutely. The Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, based on everything we're hearing, seems meticulously crafted for the user who really prioritizes cutting-edge aesthetics, wants the very latest in processor technology with that custom chip, and demands a refined, top-tier user experience above all else. It's for those individuals who want their device to not just function flawlessly, but to also feel and look like a genuine luxury item.
A status symbol, almost.
Perhaps, yeah. They're likely willing to pay that premium price for the glossy hardware, for the incredibly slim profile that feels amazing in the hand, for that stunning, uncompromised external display brightness, and just an overall visual and tactile experience that sets it apart. You can easily imagine the executive who values a sleek, powerful tool that makes a definite statement in a boardroom, or the dedicated tech enthusiast who always wants the most visually impressive and technically advanced device money can buy, prioritizing that prestige and ultimate polish.
Okay, then on the other side of the coin, Google. It seems Google wins on overall value, being cheaper, on ruggedness with that IP68, on water resistance specifically, and maybe price elasticity, making it potentially ideal if you're looking for a foldable that is genuinely built to last and can handle the rough and tumble of daily life.
Precisely. The Pixel 10 Pro Fold seems targeted squarely at the practical user, maybe the adventurer, maybe just anyone who needs a device that can genuinely withstand the rigors of daily life without causing constant worry. It's for those folks who prefer a device built to last and really value long-term reliability and that peace of mind over achieving the absolute bleeding-edge slimness or having the highest possible fold count number on a spec sheet.
People who maybe keep their phones longer.
Could be, yeah. Imagine the outdoor enthusiast who needs a phone that can survive a sudden downpour while they're out hiking, or the parent who's constantly around accidental spills and drops in a busy household, or simply someone who wants to stretch their significant tech investment as far as possible, knowing their device is robustly protected against common hazards by that crucial IP68 rating. It's about enduring functionality and practical, real-world resilience.
So what does this all mean for how we approach our tech choices? It's fascinating. This isn't just about which phone is technically better in some kind of objective vacuum. It's really about what you value most and what trade-offs you're personally willing to make.
And this dichotomy we're seeing here, this value versus premium, or maybe resilience versus refinement, it perfectly extends to how we choose projects or tools in other domains too, even well beyond consumer electronics, like we touched on with crypto. You might opt to pay extra for those high-throughput chains, valuing the immediate speed and peak transaction performance, prioritizing that sort of premium, unhindered experience, even if it costs more or has other potential trade-offs.
Right, the fast lane approach.
Exactly. Or, conversely, you might prefer those potentially undervalued, more resilient alternatives projects that prioritize long-term security, proven longevity, maybe a stronger, more dedicated community. Choosing something that feels like it's built to last, in a way, emphasizing that foundational strength over sheer immediate speed. It's a very similar calculus of priorities, weighing that immediate gratification against long-term stability and trust. And thinking about software integration as well. Just as seamless AI features and a smooth user experience elevate a device like the Pixel or the Samsung, making them more than just the sum of their parts. You see platforms in the crypto world, like Layer 2, such as Arbitrum and Optimism, doing something similar. They optimize the user experience by making transactions faster and cheaper, reducing friction for the end user, making the underlying blockchain more usable.
Improving the interface, essentially.
Precisely. A device's software or a platform's usability layer isn't just about a checklist of features. It's about how effortlessly you can achieve your goals, how intuitively it integrates into your workflow or your life. It's often the silent engine that truly defines your overall experience, whether it's a phone or a blockchain.
So let me ask you directly then, our listener, as you consider these two really incredible but very different devices, if you were using your foldable phone for crypto on the go, maybe you're checking prices frequently, managing a wallet, making quick swaps or transactions, would you value the peace of mind of durability that the Pixel offers more, knowing it can handle an accidental splash or a dusty environment? Or would the sleek, high-performance feel and the refined aesthetic of the Samsung, maybe feeling faster or more premium in those quick interactions, be more important to you? Or, let's put it another way, focusing on the cost. Would you willingly pay that extra $200 potentially for the glossy hardware and the refined, super slim design of the Samsung, for that undeniable premium feel? Or would you much rather prefer a device like the Pixel, which saves you some money upfront and is simply built to last and endure the rigors of your everyday world, offering that rugged reliability at a more accessible price point?
And this maybe raises an even broader question for you to ponder. Do you inherently trust stress-tested products more when you're investing in tools you expect to rely on for the long term? Whether that's a phone specifically designed and tested to last a decade, or maybe a decentralized network that has proven its longevity and resilience over years, or really any other valuable asset where that long-term performance and reliability are paramount. It speaks to a fundamental level of trust in engineering, in resilience, in proven endurance that often dictates our choices, especially when significant investment is involved in this rapidly evolving digital landscape.
Yeah, here's where it gets really interesting, I think, because your answer to those questions, durability versus sleekness, value versus premium, test resilience versus cutting edge, it might reveal more than just your preference between these two phones. It might actually tell you something quite profound about your overall investment philosophy, maybe your risk tolerance, and what you truly prioritize, and the tools and the systems you choose to rely on every day, whether they're physical, like a phone, or digital, like a network or platform. So wrapping things up, we've taken a really deep dive today into the Google Pixel 10 Pro Fold and the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 7, trying to uncover the nuanced but significant differences in their underlying design philosophies. Samsung clearly champions the allure of premium hardware, the incredible sleekness, and cutting-edge design features like the super bright outer screen, striving for that ultimate luxury feel and uncompromised aesthetic. While Google, on the other hand, makes a very strong case for robust value, practical ruggedness, and unparalleled durability in this category, building a device that truly aims to stand the test of time and the elements, headlined by its pioneering IP68 rating. Ultimately, look, both are going to be incredible pieces of technology. They're pushing the boundaries of what a smartphone can be, but they speak to very different priorities, and they clearly cater to distinct user needs and desires.
So as we conclude this deep dive, maybe just consider this final thought. What does your ideal foldable phone look like? And perhaps more revealingly, what compromises are you willing to make to get it? What does that choice truly say about your personal priorities in technology right now? Perhaps maybe even reflecting something about your long-term investment strategies as you navigate this rapidly evolving, complex digital world. It's a reflection, isn't it, of what you value most? Maybe the immediate thrill and prestige of cutting-edge design, or perhaps the enduring confidence that comes from knowing you have unparalleled resilience in your pocket.
Absolutely. Food for thought there. And hey, if you're loving these deep dives where we connect these cutting-edge tech breakdowns to broader trends, maybe even touching on the crypto ethos, we would genuinely appreciate your support. Don't forget to hit that like button on this video, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, and definitely ring that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive. Your engagement, honestly, whether it's leaving a comment below, telling us which phone you choose and why, sharing this with a friend, or just watching through to the end, it really, really helps boost our visibility within the YouTube algorithm. And that directly supports Crypto Robot's mission, which is to merge these insightful tech analyses with smart crypto narratives, allowing us to keep creating quality, in-depth content like this for you. We genuinely appreciate you tuning in and your support, and we look forward to diving deeper with you again next time.